Hello and welcome back to the Lich Please podcast, the soon-to-be number one D&D podcast in the UK. As always, I'm Joanna. I'm here with my co-host Alex, and today we have Alex's DM from his other campaign here with us. Do you want to introduce yourself and your world very briefly?
Yeah. To start off, my name is Derek, but I'm known as also Blood Moon and Voltage Spartan, mini titles. Yes, I am the DM for Alex in the my homebrewed campaign of Mercenaries of Forlan, and I'm personally this Alex's tormentor at this point.
Yes, you can say that. You can say that. So, I've never asked you this, but how did you get into D&D? I mean, you know how I got into D&D. You were there, so. But how did you get into D&D?
So D&D was a very big thing in my family for a very long time. My parents were big D&Ders as well. Um, I got started off very young. I was probably like 7 when my family brought me into a campaign, and I basically ruined it for them. Uh, but um, Basically, my very first campaign, I can't remember the details because it's been so very long ago, but I remember I was a orc barbarian with 2 hand axes, and my it was a actual module. I don't remember what module it was, but my father was a DM, and basically we were all in this arena where we were pitted against each other, and I was not aware of that. So a enemy to me approached, and I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna start attacking. So eventually, I killed this enemy, and I skin its fur and wear it as a coat. When I realized that character was my mother's character, who was attacked. So, uh, yeah, no, I started off very aggressive, um, but D&D didn't pick up for me until probably a 5, 6 years ago when I went to college. Uh, I was new. I didn't have many friends, and I just found someone who introduced me to this group, who introduced me to D&D again. And I started off kind of slow, kind of like how new players are, as you said, like they don't do anything crazy quite yet until I start warming up to the idea of what D&D really is, and yeah, I just got thrown back into it in college.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So
That's the dream.
that's a long time with D&D. I'm not gonna lie, that's quite a
Yeah.
while. I mean, well, I say that our campaign's been going a year, literally like a
Yes.
year and a month or something now, or a
Yeah.
year and 2 months. A while.
A while.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened, like a lot, so much stuff. Obviously, I've talked about one here before, but yes, a character died, and it was my character. Um, we didn't talk about how, and I feel like that's a really interesting conversation.
Yeah. I think
Because
you've spoken about the mechanics of how you died, but
yeah,
not like
I
the
told I told
story surrounding
I
it.
spoke to you and the others about it because I literally put in chat like after I woke up I was like, yeah, guys, my first character I ever made died. I was like, it's like he's gone, he's dead. So I've told you a lot about it, but it's an interesting story. Derek, do you want to tell him?
Oh yes, I do enjoy retelling the tale of Tazaroff dying. Basically, Alex is the the summary of the story is Alex cannot roll at all. Uh,
I'm
I,
a yeah.
I even told him like, hey, just lie once or twice. I don't mind. Like like
Yeah, no, he's done that.
but so basically, we were the group just decided to go down into this crypt where there was not a death knight as you previously said on episode 1, Alex. It was the
Oh,
death's champion, the
that's the one.
champion of death,
Yeah.
the Raven Queen herself. Yeah, come on, important details. um but um Basically, the champion of death wasn't even that bad of a guy. He was actually just chilling. He was just cursed. He didn't like him better than anyone else. um but one of the other party members were super aggro. It was like, hey, I don't like you, so I'm just gonna start attacking you. And with that, uh, combat started. Now, Alex's character Tazrov wasn't originally in the combat. Um, he was sitting off to the sideline, just kind of watching it go down until the guy started losing clearly. So then everyone started getting back into the combat. Um, when let's see, it was you, Wrath, and Chainor, the healer, who joined in to the combat. The champion's death knocked down or first possessed the healer, a very dainty elven girl named Chainor, who does not have strength. She's small. She was like 5 foot really. Like she's a small elf. While your character, on the other hand, was the polar opposite. You were
7 foot,
7'2".
7'2", tall ass dragonborn. I think I was what, like 300 pounds, 250 to 300 pounds, something like that. Is somewhere
Huge.
Hefty.
Yeah, big monk. Yeah,
This pound for pound muscle. He didn't wear a shirt to show off all his muscle.
Classic
anyway,
Alex.
Classic. Yeah.
But anyways, so this little dainty elf gets possessed. Then someone, I can't remember if it was the Death Champion or someone on the team, who knocked down everyone with a AOE attack. To make the terrain all. I think it was Earthquake.
Yeah.
And let's see, you got knocked down. Shaynor also got knocked down, but her move was first, and so instead of getting up, she just went right on top of you, used her staff, placed it on your neck, and just started choking you out. Gosh, it was not only was it a heavy moment because this was the first time I actually pitted a ally against one of them, but no one helped. Not a single person helped.
The logic was I could get out by myself, right? That was the logic. I mean, it's Shaynor and Tazroth. I think people just assumed I'd be able to get out. I thought I'd get out as well.
I was the same way. I'm like, Shaynor has a -1 in strength. I'm like, no way, Alex is gonna lose this. Then we both start off very rough. I think we both crit failed like right off the bat.
Yeah.
I'm notorious with bad rolls, but Alex seemed to beat me today. And yeah, it was just a battle of rolls. Like he started rolling bad, I started rolling bad. I'm getting like 12s and 13s, and that's winning against him with like 2s and 4s.
It's bad.
And
I have a plus modifier as well on strength. I got +2. And I was just sat there, just losing. I was just sat there. I think it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I was just like, oh, shit. I sat there like, oh, dear.
Like, and even as a DM, I'm just like trying to whiff these rolls. I'm like, come on, just roll bad. Let this man live.
I know the feeling.
This can't be the way you die. But no, after I think 6 rolls back to back.
Oh yeah,
some matching. Sometimes we matched a few times there.
Yeah.
And yeah, just after a while, she breaks his neck with the staff, and I was like, dang, I tried everything to stop it. No one helped. Not a single person helped.
Yeah, it was tough. It was very tough.
Ironically enough, the only person who probably would have done something would have been Paladin, who was the aggro against the Death Champion. But he was gone the next session, so I wasn't gonna just take control of a character. I try to avoid taking over characters as much as possible. So yeah, and then Shaygriff just sat off to the side, didn't do a single thing. Just was watching it, had popcorn, just like, yeah, this is pretty cool. But yeah, that's the death of Tazroth, a dainty elf outstrengths this giant dragonborn monk.
Yeah. Oof. And just for context as well, Tazroth has nearly died multiple times before this to things that are significantly stronger. Like, there are things that have just been so much harder to kill. even his own mum. I'd like to think his own mum nearly killed him, and she's like incredibly strong. But he died to the healer, who we've known since the start. It was just unlucky. There's nothing else you could do. The last roll I think that killed me was a natural one I got.
Yes.
I think I nat one three
Yeah.
or four times in the whole checks, and I think I nat 20'd once, but you also nat 20'd at the same time I did, so it just meant
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah, it was just bad. It was very
Oh, that's rough.
bad rolling. Yeah, and then I had to remake a character, but you gave me an option of
Yes.
bringing him back to life. So I don't think that other people who are in our game know this, but
No.
you said I could either become the champion of death, because that was the whole scenario, was someone else was going to become the champion of death, and you gave that option to Tazaroth. You're like, yeah, you can do that if you want.
That's cool.
Yeah, or reroll a character. But then I was like, basically Tazaroth is too stubborn to be taking orders from someone else, because he'd have to listen to the god. I was just like, yeah, he wouldn't accept it, so he's just going to be dead. Like, yeah, it's just a part of it. It just is what it is. I sat there, I was like, yeah, oh well. But now I've got my amazing new character, Karas, the sorcerer. Yeah.
You must have been thinking about that offer overnight. 'Cause it took you a while to get back to me on that. You're like,
I was,
it was
yeah,
a
I was
very
thinking.
tempting offer.
Oh, he
Yeah.
came to our chat and asked our advice.
No, I put it in their chat. I was like, what would you guys do? Because I ain't got a fucking clue. I sat there, I was thinking about it for like the whole day. I was like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Because obviously I have backup characters. It's like common knowledge that I have a lot of backup characters all the
Yep.
time. But I was sat there and I was like, yeah. And I just went with my new character, obviously Karas, sorcerer / warlock. Cool backstory. I enjoy playing Karas, and for the first session, this was amazing. I messaged you and I was like, can I just fuck with the party and then not know I'm there? Like, because I have a ring of invisibility, and obviously I have like, and I think I have winged boots as well, because we're level 10 now in your campaign, and we have some
Okay.
cool gear that we got along the way from like blacksmiths or found it on stuff. So you let me choose some gear. So winged boots and ring of invisibility. So I was basically flying around and then using like minor illusion or thaumaturgy just to. And what I do is I text Derek what I wanted to be said in their ears, and he'd just say it out loud like it's not me. So I wasn't saying
Oh,
anything.
that's cool.
He'd just be like, "Oh yeah." He just basically chat a bunch of shit to the other players because it's me texting.
That's fun.
And then I basically tried to get everyone to go to a tavern to meet me, which they all thought that it was going to be like a big battle and they were going to die, because in this campaign, generally, if you listen to a voice to go somewhere by yourself, it generally means that there's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they went there and then they met my character, and I pretended I didn't do anything until the very end of the session. When we walked in the door and I went invisible, and then everyone was like, oh no, something shit's happening. And I was like, no, it's just me. I've been fucking with you guys the whole time. Yeah, it was actually really fun to sit there and just chat shit about everyone on text.
I could imagine, yeah.
Yeah. But,
the best part about that whole sequence with you was when there was a showman, because there was like a festival at a city. So there was like a lot of like party games and stuff. So he was messing with them during all these party games. But the best part was there was this guy who was like saying that he had this freak show behind a curtain. In reality, it was just a talking deer. It was kind of an Easter egg from one of my other groups that snuck in. And what Alex decided to do with both the invisibility and the winged boots was pick up the talking deer and make him fly away. Fly away to the tavern.
Yeah.
So someone who's just watches this flying deer just bye bye.
Oh, that's cool.
All
Yeah,
you
no,
hear
it's-
from above was like, "Do you have a juicy leaf?" Because that's what his like, motto is.
Yeah, it was really fun. As my first session. It's been a while since then. I think it must have been like 5 sessions or 6 sessions, maybe more, since Tazaroth died. I mean,
Yeah.
there's been all sorts. There's been a time skip. Tazroth has a statue in a city now, which is cool.
Fun.
That was a really nice detail. When you said that, I was like, yeah, let's go. Tazroth has a statue, yeah. But yeah, I mean, we've been playing a year and a half, and a lot has happened in the campaign, like genuinely, like a bunch. I mean, we've owned a city. We've had massive fights in the city, massive fights, but like huge. We've freed people. We've gone against like evil people. The whole point, basically, the whole thing of the campaign is we're working for someone who is meant to be the rightful emperor of or king of Foylan. Like he's meant to be the person who's leading, but I got taken over by a man called Blood Moon, and which basically being paid to kill him, essentially, like get rid of his reign. And like, but we don't trust either of them. We don't trust Blood Moon or Tarvon, which is the person hiring us. So we're on like middle ground, trying to make our own city and rebel against both of them because we have no trust for either of them. At least I don't trust either of them at all. But yeah, so that's basically what's been happening. Is like it's a massive rebellion, but we're trying to work by ourselves in secret. And it's worked to some degree. I mean, we did actually get our own city. However, after a big fight and then Lord Tarvon came to save us, we basically lost the city to Tarvon. And now we're just doing work for him. Yeah, it's very fun. And it is my first campaign I did. Yeah. So obviously, yeah. Oh, you go ahead.
No, I mean, I had a question for both of you. And I want Alex to answer it first, and then I want Derek to answer it. What do you think is their biggest fuck up that they've made
in the campaign,
Alex, and then like the DM'd opinion afterwards, just to see if, because I did this on our last episode and I disagreed with them.
What?
And then they were like, "Oh yeah, that's good."
There's been a few. That's that's the thing. We fucked up quite a few times. God. I mean, we've gotten people like killed. Like we have gotten our party members just killed. So that's a difficult.
See, I'm looking at Derek's face and I'm thinking he's got one in his head already. You're sat there thinking, and there's one just sitting there.
Oh God. Oh, it would have to be the. It would have to be. I know what it is, and I did it. It's when I added to my backstory like halfway through to explain some stuff that happened in it, and we went to the new town which we claimed, Aslanor, later on. But when we went there, I met some people from my backstory with Tazroth. So in his backstory, at some point after he left his temple, he joined a secret service that was for Blood Moon. So he was a part of like the secret services. He'd never met Blood Moon personally. Like he didn't go there and join the service through Blood Moon's recommendation. He joined when he met them on the road. And basically, when we went to Aslanor, we met people who used to be in the secret service with him. Because what happened is a bunch of them, like a massive thing happened, and a whole bunch of the secret service got killed off, and everyone else was fleeing. And we met Rosior, who was this little. I think she's a dwarf. She's either a dwarf or a gnome.
Halfling.
There you go. Yeah, she's
the other short one.
Yeah, the other short one. She's one of the small ones. Yeah, Tazroth met back up with her, and she's like really bubbly personality, and we basically got her into our party. But what it was is there was another person from the Secret Service there who was like in general everyone saw as the snake and the person who leaked the intel and got us killed. And I went there with the rest of our party to kill him. When I got there, he tried to explain that we shouldn't that Rosior was a bad person and we shouldn't kill him. And I didn't believe him, and I killed him, which is the wrong choice because he was right, and Rosior was a bad person, and she actually removed she did kill Tazroth, but Revivify exists. It was like a whole thing. She was behind a bunch of murders in the city. And yeah, it was a massive encounter. But if I'd listened to the guy I went to kill, who had his own new secret service, it would have been a lot different. That's in my eyes the biggest fuck up, because I think two NPCs, part of our party, died in that encounter. Yeah, it was a big fuck up. It was huge. Yeah, it was not good.
He so yeah, definitely. Alex makes a lot of interesting choices, without a doubt.
Yeah,
He
no, yeah.
um the to specify exactly one that's the biggest was kind of difficult because there is quite a few. Besides going alone down a dark alleyway to get killed, to bring in a
Oh, yeah.
the big one of the big baddies into the party. The biggest mistake that I think Alex does, um, which is a freedom I give all my players, is if they want to find like a companion or an NPC that they like, to go ahead and convince them to join. And Alex's biggest mistake is he has poor lack of judgment when it comes to who would be a good addition to the group or not. Because on multiple occasions, he's brought in a bad person who's tried to kill someone in the group. The first person Alex did bring in the group was a character named Nox, a changeling who was hired to assassinate one of the other player characters.
Oh,
Uh,
Alex.
and
Yeah,
he, he didn't he didn't find it.
yeah.
He didn't see any red flags, and I started off with a red flag. I'm like, she has this very hypnotizing gaze. She had this unique ability where if someone stared into her eyes, she could hypnotize them. Uh, and she has used that on multiple occasions to paralyze people, uh, and find ways to not only kill them but to take over their place because she's a changeling. She can change into people. Uh, but yeah, he brought someone in who was trying to kill one of his allies, and uh, on multiple occasions she attempted to kill them, and Alex actually didn't stop them for a few times there. But then later on, yeah, Rosie Orr, who was possessed by a demon of revenge, um, who ended up killing a few of your NPC friends and almost killing you on three separate
Yep.
occasions. Um,
Yep. Yep.
and now, ever since Alex has been very hesitant to bring anyone into the group, I think
Oh,
the biggest
I
addition
think the
you added
group's been
was
hesitant
Cirque.
to get me to bring in. Yeah, Cirque's
Yeah,
the
the group
best
doesn't.
addition you've had.
The group does not want you to talk to people anymore.
Nope. Nope. I mean, if I remember when there was some point, who did I bring in? It was Taz. It was what's her name? Meledith, or is that her name? The other
Maldive,
Dragonborn,
yes, Maldive.
Meldive. That's the one. Yeah, it's another Dragonborn that knew stuff that Tazroth needed to know. Um, and he wanted to bring her into the party, and basically everyone was against the idea. Because at that point I was 50%. I was 2 for 4 on bad to good guys I brought in the party. Yeah, so Tazroth wasn't great. So far, Karas hasn't had the chance to bring someone into the party, which is probably a good thing, considering. But yeah, I've had very questionable choices of people NPCs to bring into the party. Very questionable. Yeah. So we talked about this before on previous episodes with other DMs. What is your opinion on paid versus unpaid DMing?
Oof. So it's one of those touchy subjects when it comes to the D&D community. I personally don't support paid. Personally, I don't support paid DMing, but I do understand the concept of it. I do understand that for some people, this could be a livelihood for them. And it does take a lot of creativity for some DMs to make the worlds that they go to, or um, to bring the adventure to people, and depending on who you get, sometimes that experience can be a little bit better. Um, while I personally would never charge someone to play D&D, because to me this is it's not a something I want to gain from, because this is personal enjoyment for me. Like when I'm done at work on Monday,
Yeah, I'm
all I
I'm
can
the
think
same. Yeah.
about, yeah, I'm like I wanna relax. This is my best hobby. Uh, so I personally am not again with it, but I do understand why some people would charge.
So I actually found an ad the other day which I screenshotted because I read it and I felt like I had to comment because I just disagree with the way that they'd set out the ad. I'll briefly like skim over it. They've gone like, "Hi everyone, looking for players for a playthrough of Ghost Strahd. This will be time zones Tuesday, 8 p.m. for a couple of hours." And they go on this adventure. You will find an intriguing homebrewed intro into Curse of Strahd, unique, like a huge list of different things, like 10 bullet points of different things they were doing. And at the very bottom, they've put, "If you want to join the campaign, please reply below or DM me for details on pricing and availability." Like that at the very bottom of a long list of everything is kind of like that's shitty. You need to. I think they need to be putting price like this is paid at the very top of the ad.
Right off the top.
I think like it's just, and some of it comes across predatory. I think as well. I've said that before in the podcast,
Yeah.
but I do think, especially if you're a DM who does a lot of online looking for players, you just see I'm new to D&D, and they'll comment in the bottom being like, "Hi, I run paid games." It's kind of like you jumped in immediately in a brand new player. It's, don't know, makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do feel like with the pricing, it could make the biggest difference. Because when I see paid DM sessions, it's not just like a one-time payment and that's it. It's always like per people they need to pay like $20 or $30 per session. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Because one, if you're bringing in 5 people, that's already more than enough. But then you're like per session, and I'm like, I don't know. If I'm paying anything, it's gonna be a one-time payment. That's it. Like
Yeah,
all
no,
of us paying $20 each. We already paid for the book for Curse of Strahd. Like that's it.
exactly. Yeah, especially if it's a module, like you're just running a module as well. It's kind of like what are you? You're not doing a huge amount of prep. You're not spending a week writing an adventure, planning everything. You're just opening a book and going, "Okay, I'll do a little bit of backstory for this person and this." It's kind of like, okay, what really? If it's your job and you're a full-time paid DM, I think you should be doing homebrew.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
But I think that'll lead us on nicely to the next question of
Something went wrong with the recording, so we'll skip ahead a bit. Sorry about that. Bit of inconvenience, but yeah, the rest of the episode will still be there.
hello and welcome back to part 2 of the brief word there from our advertisers. Chatting.
Yeah.
So I've actually got a hot take this week, a new segment we're going to do. And I found an interesting one, which... Oh no, has it disappeared? It has disappeared.
Oh no.
Give me 5 minutes and I'll find it again. But do you have any D&D hot takes? Either of you?
That's a good question.
I don't think I have anything off top of mind. Besides my right now, it's not technically D&D, but it's D&D orientated. Baldur's Gate 3. Has anyone had the chance to play it yet?
I've played so much of Baldur's Gate 3.
I haven't. It's a bit too rich on my blood at the minute.
I played so
can
much.
unfortunately I am part of the groups who are not allowed to play it at the moment because I'm an Xbox player. So they're like, that's a no
Ah,
no. That's Yeah, they won't allow it. But I see so much stuff on there. I'm like, this game
It's
is
so good.
beautiful. The
It's so
one
good.
thing that I seen that got me the most was I seen a post about how you can romance one of your companions while they are in their bear form as a druid, and you can too be a
Oh,
bear.
oh, I've heard
yeah,
this. Yeah.
yeah. The house in romance quest line. Yeah, it's. You can do that. It's very mad. I saw a
Okay,
post about that
Alex.
as well. I was like, oh boy.
Serious question now.
Yeah.
Did you fuck the bear?
No, no, I've not done that. No, 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 no.
I don't know.
I've not done the house in romance quest line.
I don't know. Seems a little guilty right there.
Whoa,
Okay,
whoa, whoa.
I found the hot take. It to me. Okay, I'll read it first, and then you guys can make your decision. Halflings suck. They're perfectly fine mechanically, but lore-wise, they're just another short person option. They're a way less interesting one than dwarves or gnomes. I tend to write things where they flat out don't exist, which just seems, I don't know. Just say you don't like them.
What's
Like
wrong
it
with
just,
halflings?
yeah, I don't know. There's nothing like they've got a very different culture to gnomes and dwarves.
Yeah, they're all
They're,
vastly different. Like,
yeah,
you got
they
this
short people.
short people. Like that's just what they're characterized as now. They don't have any special abilities. They're just really short. That's it. Oh no.
Oh boy.
Halflings are great though with Lucky. Lucky's a really good feature.
Yeah, Lucky is cool.
I mean, there is a sub race of halfling. I'm trying to remember what their name is. I think it's like let's see. I'm pulling up my D&D Beyond. Always great to use because I buy way too much stuff on there. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I
Oh,
feel that.
Ghostwise halflings. They are really cool. Uh, they're basically they still have like all the halfling features, like lucky, brave, and all that. Um, but they're like a unique breed, a rare breed of halfling. So rare that they actually in the like description of them they say you need to talk to your DM about it because that's how rare they are.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
That's pretty
yeah.
cool.
Uh,
Damn.
yeah, it says talk to your DM if you can play a member of the sub race, and then it has its own little sub race over here. Let's see. I think the biggest difference between them and the normal one is they have something called silent speech. I'm not 100% sure what that is. I've never played as them, but I remember when I was a player, someone played as one of them, and they were just beast mode with that character. Um, Besides the fact that they're naturally stealthy, they are like the perfect rogues. I mean, sure, short though. They are short.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They are short.
Yeah.
I think boiling them down to short people is, I don't know. It's a hot take, that's for sure.
Mm.
Um,
My guess is
do
they've had
you
a
have a
bad
hot take?
experience with a halfling. I reckon is why
Yeah,
they said
that's yeah.
a bad experience.
Or they don't like. They just think two short things is enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
do you have a hot take, Alex?
Oh. Not that I can't really think of one. To be honest, there's not many. I don't think I've been playing long enough to know people who've done something that I found weird to do. Because it's just where it's like, oh, that's like hot takeable. Like, oh, why are you doing that? It's like, no, I can't think of one. Nah, not a clue. Not a clue.
Well, I got a
For me,
question for
it's
both of you guys.
go on.
Go ahead.
Is there any races in D&D that you just don't care for? Like you're just like, nah, that's a halfling. They're short. Is there any characteristics like that make you feel that way?
Yeah, okay. What's my
Um,
halfling?
Damn.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I guess based on my campaign, it's Warforged. But I think it's more that I think they're very difficult to fit into a campaign.
Okay.
And like it can disrupt the vibe for some people. You've got this like big hunking robot walking about. But I've got plans to introduce Warforged,
No
which might be news to Alex, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh god, maybe like Tritons. That's just I've never seen anyone use one because they're basically just water ganassi. Like they're basically the same. There's one
Ooh.
thing you get is different, and then otherwise they're the same. Like it's not like
Throwing shade at Rosie there, are we?
Whoa. It's not like I'm anti-Triton.
Who's playing the Triton?
Well, it's not like I'm anti-Triton. It's just they're the same. But I feel I've never played in a campaign's like setting an elf character, like an elf race. It's just there's so many and relatively like I get why people use them, but I just feel like I don't want to use the one everyone uses.
You have water elves, right?
Yeah,
Which is a different thing to.
And there's like wood elves. Like I've got no qualms with them. I just don't want to use a race everyone uses. Like I get they have good additions, which is why people use them, but I just don't want to use one that everyone uses, basically. Because it's just like the generic one, basically.
That's
but like,
true.
Yeah, that's it. It's not like I've got anything particular. Like I've removed a race from D&D. Like
most said a lot of words there, Alex.
Yes, I have. I'm backtracking. Yeah, I'm gonna get a message from Rosie after this episode. She's gonna be like,
"You are
what? You hate Tritons?" It's like, oh no, it's I don't know. I feel like there's not a race I would remove. There's races I would add. Like because they don't have a lot of races in like D&D Beyond. There's race obviously if you go out and search for it, you'll find them.
You gotta buy them.
But yeah. Like I don't think that I don't think Siren is an actual race in D&D Beyond. Which
I think it should be.
It should be.
Siren is cool.
Siren is cool. Yeah.
What's the fucker with one eye? What are they called? Cyclops. Cyclops could be cool.
Yeah. Cyclops would be cool, yeah. But they're just one-eyed Goliaths.
Yeah, but it'd be fun to play like a weirdly intelligent, like, can you imagine it like a monocled Cyclops as a wizard? Like a top hat. That'd be great.
Got that curly mustache too while we're at it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm actually going to ask you both this because we haven't covered it before. We have talked about like this question for DMs, but I feel like it's not been covered. When you two search online for players,
yes,
what is like the thing where you're just like they're going to be a good player, and then what's the thing where it's like they're going to be a bad player and I don't want them in my campaign? Like how do you tell the difference?
Ooh, it is a good question. I think one of the main things I look for is multiple ideas. If they like immediately come back with like, oh, I might do this or I might do that, then I'm like, okay, that's a good character. Also, yeah, I think multiple ideas is a good first step. Is that they've thought about this, they've got some ideas, and they're actually engaged. That's a good first step. Ooh. I don't know. It's such a difficult question.
It's a very good question because as DMs, that's something we try to look for because we don't want to bring someone who's going to kind of ruin the vibe. We don't want anyone who's like just going to be a party pooper for everyone. As someone who, as you know, Alex, who was doing basically most of the recruiting for our server, uh, one thing I would always look at is how they handled past experiences with other servers or other campaigns. If they typically, I notice there's a trend where if they talk nothing but negative about other campaigns, typically that means that they're most likely the one who was kind of bringing it down a bit. Now there are DMs who are like strict, and there are players who will combat you to the end about rules, especially in homebrewed worlds. There are definitely unique people like that. But for me, when it was bringing people in, it was that first vibe, like seeing how engaged you were. Like that's why we did that
Yeah.
one-on-one talk before bringing you into the server, was just to see how like excited you were about this. Like if you're gonna be like engaged full, and of course, obviously some bad ones got in, and obviously they end up weeding themselves out. But yes, the vibe is what I go off of. Like when me and Alex talked, I was like, this guy's freaking awesome. I like this guy.
Yeah, no, we got the yeah.
Yeah, just get in my campaign now.
So something that I think I've mentioned before that I do is I do most of my interactions over like Messenger with them or like Discord. I will screenshot all the conversation with all the people I'm talking to and send it to the party, so they can all decide on like, we like that person, we don't like that person. Just because I feel like they need to have some level of like vote engagement in who gets added, because they have to play with them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if they don't vibe with them, there's no point bringing them in. Like no matter how amazing they are, if they're not gonna, if the party's not gonna be like, yeah, this person's great as well, and they're not gonna actively properly engage with that person, there's no point even thinking about bringing them in.
Yeah, definitely.
Something else I've done as well is, as you know, Alex, on the PDF you've got to request access. So immediately, if I'm talking to someone and I'm like, "Oh, have you read my file?" and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've read it," I'm like, "Well, you didn't, because I have to give you access to the PDF, and if you've not requested access, you've not seen it, have you?" And that immediately cuts out some people, which is an interesting move.
I mean, so it's actually cool because in both campaigns I'm in with both you two, you keep track of a lot of the lore. Like in Derek, you've got the Companion's Guide, which I think is amazing, and I'm absolutely going to steal that idea for the pirate campaign because I was like, yes, Companion Guide. And so I was telling Joanne about this. You do weekly polls on stuff that happens whilst we're away, and you get everyone to vote on it, which I also am absolutely implementing in my campaign for like Travel at Sea, because Travel at Sea can be boring, and I'm like, yes, please, let's do some polls. I find that amazing. And then, Yuan, you have the whole entire lore on document for everyone to see the campaign, which I love because I'm a lore gremlin, believe it or not.
Yes, you are.
I always have a tab open. It's definitely like some of my favorite things about DMing. But another question for you both is, what is your favorite like DM house rule or something you guys do or learn from someone as a DM that you implement in your games?
Oh,
that's a good question again.
Because I'm absolutely going to steal this, by the way. Whatever is said, I will be using.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a stomper right there.
Yeah, we've got. I don't think we've hit some of the house rules that we've decided to run yet, apart from our Nat 1 rule, which it's fine. It could be better. Which is you roll a Nat 1, you roll 1d6. If it's 1 to 3, you're going to take some damage. If it's 4 and above, you're fine. If you roll the 1 to 3, you roll another d6, then you take that number of damage, which is fine. It's not amazing. It could be better, but it works. And it does add that tension.
Yeah.
There are things that I could do better with it, but it works at the minute, so we're going to stick with it. Other house rules. Oh, I guess my rule on the lore. If you can remember it from the book yourself, that's fine. You know that your character knows that. But if you ask me for that information in the session, then I'm gonna make you roll for it, which kind of encourages them to read the book, understand the book, have that lore, have it ready, which Alex is absolutely taking on board.
All the time.
There's been sessions where they've been sat on a campfire doing history, and I was like, well, there's this person mentioned on this page in this era.
Go to page 68 and you will find everything about the Chaos Gods. I actually think it is page 68. I might have to fact check that.
I think you're right. It might be page 68.
Yeah, I've read a lot. I tend to read a lot of the lore that's accessible. Yeah. What about you, Derek? What's a cool house rule that you use or you've seen another DM use that you like?
So, I try not to take away too much from other DMs, mainly because as a DM, I try to find my own kind of footing when it comes to becoming a DM. So I try to give it just go. My rule is just go with it. Like obviously I do write ahead, but with D&D, there's so much that can happen, especially in a homebrew setting. You gotta make it up on the fly sometimes, and that's
absolutely.
my go-to. I just I try to plan ahead by giving like complete options, but making it up on the fly is just the only thing you can really take away sometimes. Because I've only played in homebrew campaigns for the most part as well, so it's a take and give kind of thing. Now I didn't. There is something I did implement to our campaign that I didn't learn from another campaign, but just from some video games in general. Have either of you played the Dragon Age games?
Yes.
I have not.
Love the Dragon Age games. One of my favorite game franchises ever. So if you recall, in the first game, there was a progression bar between how a character reacts with your choices. And sometimes it goes positively, sometimes it goes down, and if the lower it goes, the more of an enemy you make out of them. But obviously, the higher it gets, the bigger of a friend you are with them. So what I actually, I don't know if Alex knows this or not, but I was into a lot of programming. I was actually going for computer science when I was in college, and I actually picked up a module where I can adjust the reactions of the NPCs to the character choices. Like I will input something that, like, say Alex does, like if he stole an apple. Obviously, more chaotic inclined through the alignment charts. Companions are gonna be like, "Fuck yeah, that's awesome. That's a nice apple." While more of the non-chaotic, the good, would like be like, "That's shameful. Why would you do that?" You know. And I implemented the alignment chart with this progression module I have. So every time I input something, you have to simple, like you can't just type in a paragraph, but put in a sentence of something that can have a positive or negative effect, and it will actually change the alignments of all of the NPCs to Alex's character.
That's cool as fuck.
That is really cool. I'm not gonna lie, that is really cool.
It
That's
took a
really
lot
cool.
of time to set up, but it works very well, and that's why, Alex, if you've noticed, sometimes characters do interact with you differently than others. Like, obviously, Rosie Yor looks at you quite highly now because of you basically saving her soul, but other characters, like in the case of this, Misery, you don't interact with her. You've not said a word to that woman yet, and she does
That's
not
true.
like.
I don't think I've ever talked to Misery, and like me and Tazroth and Shagrith are very close friends, so it's kind of mental that I've never said a word to Misery.
It's like your best friend's wife, and you're like, who the hell are you? I've never said a word to you.
Alex,
I mean, it just happens. I mean, it's too late now. Tazorov died. He's not going to be able to speak to Misery, but yeah. Oh, that is actually really cool. The whole program for
That is
character
really fun,
interaction.
yeah.
That's really, really cool. So, two questions. Well, two things. The first question. The first thing is
a list.
I know. Well, one's the horror story that I'll have. The other is, and we'll start with that. Is Derek? I sent you a message earlier, like probably yesterday, about your favorite moment as a DM and your favorite moment as a player.
This is always my favorite part.
Yeah,
this is
I'm
genuinely one of my favorite parts that we do.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very intrigued. It can be. It doesn't have to be our campaign. It can be anything. Obviously, I really want to know because you have been playing a long time. So yeah, go ahead.
Oh man, it's so hard to pick one moment because I've been a part of a lot of campaigns. I've DM'd a lot of campaigns and was a player in a lot. Oh, but it's so hard to choose one. I'm gonna start off with one of my favorite player moments, which was my reintroduction to D&D. When I after I went to started in college and I was introduced to it. This was a homebrewed campaign, but it was more like not as like medieval fantasy like most, but it was like star traveling at this point, like with Gith and all of them. And I was introduced to the middle of the campaign, and I was like, they're like, do whatever you want. So my character, his name was Urizu. He was a Goliath, lovely Goliath, um, who was open out of this chamber, and the first thing he seen was this misfit crew of all different races. A dwarf who was purple, like purple skinned, purple hair, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And they're like, you just woke up from this chamber. What do you do? And I'm like, I'm gonna grab my warhammer and hit that guy. Like first thing out of the bat, I'm like, what I try to do as a player, I try to put myself in a situation like what would I really have done. I'm like, yeah, if I just woke up and there's all these guys with weapons and stuff in front of me, I'm gonna fight, you know. Uh, so I'm like, yeah, hit him with a hammer. And then after they contained me and like it was like, hey, we're not trying to hurt you. I found out my origin was I was a clone of someone who is the polar opposite of my guy. Um, and basically after that, all these other clones started coming out from all the other characters in this party, and obviously since they're the good guys, all the clones are bad. So we're fighting all these clones, and that purple dwarf has this belt of like where I don't recall what it's exactly called, but he like stretches out and he can get super big. And I'm like, I'm gonna throw that guy at his clone. And they're like, are you allowing this? I'm like, and he was like, no, I'm not allowing this. And so we rolled a strength versus strength. I won. I did a whirlwind through him, through his clone, because I crit 20 my throw and I crit 20 the attack on him. So that was two crits right off the bat, and I'm like, this is awesome. Uh, throw his purple double into his blue double, and he's just like a giant hole of what a dwarf could fit in a giant dwarf. So I
cool
threw a
stuff.
man through a man who was his clone, his evil clone.
That's fun.
That is
Then
cool.
very much later after that, I actually abandoned the group and betrayed them to the evil clones. Because they're like, there was like this big boss battle, and I'm like in that realism mode still. I'm like, I don't know these people. I don't know who they are. So I'm like, screw these people. I'm gonna jump on the starship and get out of here. So I just walk onto the big bad ship, and I'm like, there's a Yanti who was like arming the ballista, and they're like aiming at me. I'm like, I'm gonna try to romance this person to get on the ship. Rolling. I crit failed, and just outright, like I'm like, hey girl, like you got a boyfriend or something, and then crit failed it, and she's like, I'm a lesbian, and then shoots me with a ballista.
Damn.
And yeah, no, I died because of that because I betrayed the team, so it was great. It was great. Favorite moment as a DM. Now that one's really hard. I have DM more than I have played at this point, and let's see. Honestly, one of the most best moments is actually very recently when I introduced like we started putting video cameras in our game, Alex, and I got to actually see you guys. Nothing nothing filled me with more pride than actually seeing your guys' reactions to some like my twist and some of my moments, because like not only did it show that you guys were actually really engaging with it, but it like when I seen Alex's face drop when I did a twist, the best thing ever, honestly, because that was it was honest and it was pure, and that's what made it amazing. Because uh, during I have been nothing but a DM online, due to COVID. So, and rarely do I ever actually see face to face with any of my players. And so I was like, we've been talking for a year. Let's add something into this. Let's see each other. Let's make it a little more, get closer and bond a little bit. And that it felt good, like very prideful of my creation, because I actually got to see you guys interacting, and like it's not like you guys playing on your phone and like, oh yeah, that's amazing. Like no, you're like engaged full, and I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Maybe we need to do that.
Yeah, we could do, to be fair. I mean, we've seen it was weird though, I'll tell you what, it was very weird seeing everyone's faces for the first time.
Yeah,
I looked
I
it
can
up, I was
imagine,
like,
yeah.
oh shit, this is what people look like? This is weird.
Because you've got that like mental image of what someone looks like, and then it's just
Honestly, like, I didn't even know what to expect. I mean, I think most of us had our cameras on that session. I think who didn't? There were people who weren't there, and Raph didn't. I don't think.
Didn't.
Yeah,
Raph,
and then everyone else had it.
Raph was a good
Yeah.
exception, mainly because he's got a family and all that, kids running around. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I had it. Crispy or Tommy, he had his. What were you? No, this is a question. I'm genuinely curious now. What did you expect us to look like?
Actually, I don't know.
this is a question.
This is a good question. So I think I remember at some point, like before we'd seen our faces, that you said you had some like Nordic ancestry. So I was expecting like bright blonde hair and blue eyes. I was like, yeah, you're gonna look like, I don't know, like a Viking. To be fair, I didn't think I was far off with your guess. I was like, when you popped up, I was like, oh, you kind of look like how I expected. Tommy, I did not think he'd have curly hair. That just threw me off. I was like, whoa, it's like curly hair. I was like, shit. I was like, I had no idea. What's it? Yeah. Oh, and Dax threw me off. I had no idea what he'd. I genuinely had no expectations for what he'd look like. But I did, like, when he appeared on the screen, I was like, oh. I was like, okay, that's what you look like. It's genuinely. I think you were the closest to, in my head, what you look like. But Tommy was way off. I had no idea. I didn't think curly hair. I was sat there like, no, he can't have curly hair. I think Tommy's got a beard, right? Like a small beard, if I remember.
No, he had a big beard.
Yeah, he's got his big beard. That's it. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I didn't think he'd have. I thought it'd be like clean shaven, with like hair slicked back, curly hair. And the minute I saw, I was like, curly hair. I was like, oh shit. I was like, no, I was so surprised. I was like, okay, wow. Yeah, but it was really good. It was actually a really enjoyable moment to see everyone's faces and play D&D. We should absolutely do it in our campaign. I mean, I've seen 3 of your guys' faces. I think obviously yours
and
Lashara. Yeah, and Lashara. Yeah, we should absolutely do it. I think it'd be hilarious.
I think it'd be good. Especially, well, you know what? We'll suggest it for tomorrow, because tomorrow I've got a big combat planned.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The last time we had a big combat, around 6 hours. So
yeah, we had a 6-hour combat session.
I was so tired. It was rough.
Led straight into, like, I had a half an hour break before I went into your session. So
God,
I had like 9 hours of D&D from 7 p.m. our time to like 4 a.m. or whatever. When we finish, because I play you guys back to back. So I get like that's why sometimes I miss sessions, because I get so tired. I just sleep and I just forget. Yeah. because I played both of you on Mondays or Tuesday mornings technically. But yeah, cool.
Yeah,
So
I did
D&D
not
horror
blame
stories.
you. I did not blame you for
Yeah.
that at all. 1 in the morning for you.
I would have.
You gotta be mean with him. Like, come on, Alex, it's your third time now. Like, what the hell?
Wake him up.
I don't care if that's 2 in
Yeah.
the morning. Get up.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
I was kind of hoping you would give me a taste of my own medicine. You'd be like, oh no, we're gonna start at like 8 in the morning. I want you up at 2.
Nice. I couldn't do that. But yeah, cool. D&D horror story.
Yeah, let's go. None of them, I don't think, have been truly horrific yet, to be fair.
None
of the ones that we've had.
I've not seen like
awful.
The horrific ones I've seen is like, I can't be speaking about this on a podcast. Like, this is insane.
Yeah, no. The ones I've seen that are truly bad, I'm like, we can't.
Yeah, but
we're not.
Hopefully this one sparks some interesting conversation. So the title is Am I the Arsehole? Character Creation Edition. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. That's interesting.
Hey all, so I've been on a D&D kick lately and set out to start a new campaign with friends. During our session 0, one of the players playing a Warforged Artificer asked the DM if he can have mithril plate armor for his character as it made sense for his background from the get-go, asking for mithril plate. The DM said yes. The DM agreed because it's part of his background.
Jesus.
The more I thought about it, the more it bothered me, as first of all, we're starting at level 1, and secondly, artificers don't have heavy armor proficiency, so his character physically can't wear it. I approached the player through text, explaining my concerns about making combat difficult to balance for the DM, and would be either too easy or difficult, and the fact our Warlock has an 11 AC, which would be a 10-point difference to the monstrous 21 AC our Artificer would
I was going to say.
Yeah, obviously 18 AC from Mithril, Shield, and Warforged ability. He appreciated me coming to him with his concerns, which is so far is good. Like, they're communicating, which
good
is
open communication. Yeah,
D&D horror stories, right? So he got a text back from the guy saying he reached out to the DM, and the DM said it's okay, it's fine, the combat will be okay. I don't want to be rules lawyer or anything, but I still don't feel comfortable with this. It breaks the rules. It's a massive power difference between characters, and we have 2 new players in the group who wouldn't know what to ask the DM for because they're new. They don't know what to ask for, right? I don't want to ruin the campaign before session 1, but this just feels unfair. For context, they're playing a cleric with an 18 AC, so it's not like my character would be most affected by strong attack roll-based enemies, but still. My overall fear is that we will have a character that will always outperform and outpace others in combat, and none of our actions matter because he's untouchable at early level and late, since he can augment his armor and shield with infusions. The only thing he would provide challenge is spell-based enemies, but always facing the same enemy would be boring. I could continue on, but the gist is, you get the gist. Am I the arsehole? Is what he's asked. Now, someone in the comments did post the rule to armor proficiency, and that is if you're not proficient, you will have disadvantage on ability checks, saving throws, or attack rolls that involve strength or dex, and you can't cast spells. So obviously that person is going to have that.
If the DM runs with it.
Yeah. So my logic is, and I read a lot about this in the comments, yes, mithril plate armor from level 1 is crazy. Like, it's insane. But the DM said it was fine. You just got to trust the DM. Like, as much as it sucks to be you because that person's got mithril plate and is probably over level for everything, you have to trust the DM. Like, at the end of the day, they've probably got an idea of what to do to make things interesting.
Yeah.
But I can absolutely see their argument in the fact that mithril plate from level 1 is crazy. Like, I get it, but they've communicated their problems, and the DMs basically said it's fine. I think they're kind of the arsehole. Not fully, just kind of. Because they're not trusting their players or DMs, basically, is how I feel.
This might be because I'm a dickhead, but I would let the player have the mithril armor, let everything be fine until they started being like, Okay, I want to do this skill table. Okay, at disadvantage. At disadvantage. Okay, I want to cast a spell. Oh, you can't cast spells. And then just be like, well, you wanted the armor. If you want to cast spells, take off the armor. But yeah, they're not a dickhead because they are concerned about game balance and new players. Well, we don't know that. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, just trust the DM. The DM has made a decision, and that is, you've got to listen to what the person running the game is saying.
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, it wouldn't even be the player's fault if everything went wrong. It would kind of come down to the DM because he was allowing of it. But yeah, if he allowed it, there would have been a good reason, and if it fit the background. Now I don't know if I would have started off with mythical at level 1 personally, but
no, never.
Yeah, like it's a little OP at right off the bat, but especially with newer players, I mean I would have been fine with granting it later on. Just saying, hey, your character advanced enough where this is an option now for you. But right off the bat, I don't know. That's especially because like
Mithril negates. No, sorry, go on.
oh, I was just gonna say, especially like in the very beginning, I'm not throwing anything heavy at you. You know, I'm not gonna be throwing a dragon or anything. I'm throwing like a kobold, just one.
Yeah, and Mithril is the one that negates crits, right?
Yeah.
So that takes away like a big fear factor in making combat interesting. If you can't get crit, especially with an AC of 21, and combat's going to be boring. And I
definitely would question the DM, but I think obviously because he's let it happen, or there's logic to it. So like they might just be doing what you said, Joanne, and just every time they try to do a check, spell, just be like, you can't do it because you've got that armor on. But like the person who wrote it, firstly also has an 18 AC, which when I read that I was like, okay, your AC is also quite high. So it doesn't affect you as much. I'd understand if it was like, oh, everyone has like an AC that's less than 14 and you got one with 21, but it's not like yours is high. But secondly, like it seems that the person who wrote it doesn't trust their DM, like because they're questioning like the logic behind it. I get why they would, but it just seems like they don't trust their DM. Yeah.
It also comes across a bit white knighty that they're saying, I've got this issue for new players for this. If no one's got an issue with it, if it's their first campaign, they just want to have fun.
Yeah.
If it becomes an issue, you can then bring it up with the DM and be like, well, this isn't what D&D is. But if no one's having an issue right now, just roll with it.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah, exactly.
Then that means, what do you think the answer would be? Are they being a dick?
No, I don't know. It's a difficult question.
I think they're not, and they are. Like they are for not trusting their DM, and because they're like, oh, I want to be a rules lawyer for the DM. But they're not for voicing their concerns. Like, well done for communicating your concerns.
Yeah, no, 100%.
The general thing for horror stories is nobody talks to each other.
Yeah,
fair
genuinely,
enough, voice your concerns. Yeah, fair enough. But I think they're being so accurate for still questioning everything. Like, you've talked to the DM and the player, and they've discussed it, and they've made it make sense for you, but then you're still questioning. I think that's where they'd be the arsehole. Everything else is fair.
What's funny is communication is normally the issue in most of these stories, and communication is the issue this time again, but it's the opposite way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like they talked it out. So like, I mean, if the DM is cool with it and the player even said like they appreciate you talking and like being concerned about it, but you just gotta.
I think I would want someone to come to me with an issue like that, and I could be like, look, trust me, I've got this. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, 100%.
No,
but I think I would give slightly more context than the DM is saying. Like, then they got maybe say, it's maybe go, it's my game, I'm going to run it how I want, they can have the armor, I don't care. Or it's fine, I'm going to deal with it, they will know the consequence of taking this armor. I think the DM could have given slightly more information rather than just be like, it's fine.
And then again, there is just a lot of context that we're missing, like about the campaign itself. It is hard to play it to that, but yeah, I'm kind of with Alex. It's on that 50-50 line. It's like,
Yeah.
you did very well communicating, and like there's a lot of players who are a lot more toxic than that. Like, let's be honest, they will throw fits like they're children. So like kudos on you for like at least voicing your concern. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, what's gonna is this gonna be a deal breaker for you? Is this gonna make you want to quit the campaign? Do you feel like there's special treatment going on or something, like, or is this something like you can get past, like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my last question, at least, is favorite class and subclass, because it disappeared on the notes, but I haven't remembered last second.
Oh, yeah. Damn, we almost forgot again. Oh, we've asked it twice in 6 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. Favorite class and subclass. What would it be?
Favorite? Oh,
they can be different.
Okay.
They can be different.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. All right. So favorite class off the bat that I can think of is I very much enjoyed being a blood hunter.
Okay.
It felt very powerful, but like there's sacrifices. You did sacrifice quite a bit to be as strong as you were. I had one of my most fun playing as a blood hunter until I murdered an innocent person, but that's a story for a later time. But yes, no, blood hunter was so fun because of that power that you had. It was just like you weren't powerful enough where you felt OP because you lacked in other categories then. But no, super fun. Subclass. That was a little trickier because there's a lot of subclasses I played with.
So, while you think, I've actually got, I think, a hot take on blood hunters.
Okay, yeah.
Which I kind of want to bring up. Blood hunters are a homebrew class, and if you want to play a blood hunter, you've got to discuss it with your DM first.
Yeah.
Blood hunter is a class that was made by Matt Mercer. I don't care if it's Matt Mercer; it's still a homebrew class. Like, regardless, we know he's written an official book, but it is still a homebrew class, and I think a lot of people do just bring it in, and it's kind of like, well, I personally wouldn't give a fuck if you play a blood hunter, but I think it still needs to be respected. It is a homebrew class, and if you want to play it, you need to at least vocalize that for the DM first.
Oh yeah.
Before planning that you're going to play a blood hunter.
Yeah, no. Blood hunter is definitely. There's a reason why, like even on D&D Beyond, you have to select certain modifiers that put blood hunter in there. Like it's non-core. Yeah. It's non-core. But it definitely is one of the more fun classes. Now, when it came to subclasses, that one was tricky because I tried to limit it down to what class to subclass. And I have a favorite for, I would say, a majority of them. But when I think of like fun subclasses, the two that pop up would be, I want to say Soul Knife Rogue. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, and then let's see. I'm trying to think of the barbarian ones. I'm pulling it up right here. Oh, Path of the Storm Herald.
Yes, yeah, I really like Storm Herald. You can make Thor, basically.
Exactly. Like, you are a angry Thor. How could you not want that?
It's so cool.
Now, for Path of the Soul Knife, for the Rogue archetype, the reason why I'm really fond of that one at the moment is because I am playing another campaign currently, where I am a Grug, rogue with Soul Knife.
Oh, that's that. I have had a player run Grung before, and oh my god,
they are one of the most fun races to play.
I have to, yeah, absolutely.
But there's a little bit more to it because I'm not just a Grung. So I'll give you a very brief of the backstory of it. But basically, my character named Yasmir was a drow assassin for a League of Assassins. I've killed kings, I've killed princes, I've assassinated many targets. Now, one of my more elusive targets was a Prince Grung of this little Grung tribe. But the problem was, is they lived underwater most of the time, and as a drow, I
Yep.
cannot breathe underwater. So what we did was we kidnapped one of the Grug, just a standard one of the standard workers, infused my soul with him. My soul left my body, and now that Grug, which his name was the Dean, uh, we are one. We are like Ermac. We are many, but you are one. Uh, so now, but when I assassinated my target, it caused a revolt between a giant Grug population who was coming out of the water to get me now. Uh, and my League of Assassins abandoned me. So now I'm stuck in this body with two
That's
souls.
cool as fuck.
And yeah, Soul Knife was the best one because not only do I got range now, but naturally, but I can even like basically teleport here and there. So it was just one of my favorite characters, and I currently am playing still.
That's pretty cool. That
cool.
is very cool.
Yeah.
But and then of course with Path of the Storm Herald, just simply that. Yeah, you are an angry Thor. Yeah. That is the best. Like, who wouldn't want Channel Lightning?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Barbarian, I'm always torn between Ancestral Guardian and Storm Herald.
Exactly.
Those are my two. I love them. They're great.
Those are the main ones to really go for.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah.
Alex, do you have a specific one that you like?
Oh God, a favorite class and subclass? I mean, I think I've said my favorite class was like Monk, because it's my first one. It just is fun. I did enjoy playing Tazaroth, I really did. Subclass is difficult, because I've not actually, well, that's a lie. I've used like 7, 8 subclasses.
It's yours, isn't it? It's yours.
Like, my homebrew subclass is obviously my favorite subclass. Like, I love it so much. But to be fair, I have, for the campaign we're in, Derek on Tuesdays, which just started back up, I have homebrewed another subclass for that. It's a paladin subclass. It's called the Oath of Space. Very snazzy name.
Yeah.
It's space related, believe it or not.
So not as in like empty space, as in like space,
like space in the sky. Yeah. Oh God, favorite subclass. It depends in the circumstances you use it. Like Rune Knight is cool. I like Rune Knight. There's a lot of things you can do. So it's like what is it? Path of the Totem Bearer or something like that, or the Barbarian one.
Yeah,
with the different rages.
Totem Warrior?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
That one's cool. But my favourite so far is probably Tazaroth's one, the Ascendant Dragon. I genuinely really enjoyed that subclass. Yeah. Like, it's a fun subclass. Like, you get Dragon Breaths, and you get a lot. I think I had like 4 at level 10. I like 4 discluding my Dragonborn Dragon Breath. You get to infuse your punches with different like elements of damage, which helps, because if there's an enemy that's weak to that element of damage, obviously I'll be able to hit them and do it as well. It's a fun one. I really enjoyed that one. It's probably my favorite at the moment. It's a very underrated class, I think, for monks especially. Yeah, definitely the way of the Ascendant Dragon. Yeah, cool.
I think we can all agree the worst monk subclass is the 4 elements one. It sounds so cool, and it's just trash. Just get rid of it, or just it's shit. It is so bad.
Obviously, the most appealing one when you're a monk is the way of the, I think, Drunken Master. Is that what it's called?
Drunken Master. Yeah. Everyone loves the Drunken Master. You can't go wrong with the Drunken Master. It's a good.
See, I've got a character I really want to play for that subclass, and he's this elven general who for like years led for like an amazing ranger, like Ranger Rogue. I think I've made him like incredible general, led like the elves to battle loads of times. The last time he did it, the entire army got wiped out, but he did win the war. So it's kind of like the flaw is if he ever meets an elven person, it's they either love him or they fucking hate him. But he has vowed to never pick up a bow again, and he's just drunk as shit. So he's becomes a level 1 drunken master, and
Nice.
that's the character I want to play, but I've not had a chance.
Cool. Going back a little bit to you, Alex. First, love that idea. That's gonna be a great idea. But Drunken Master all the way. But because you said Rune Knight, that actually reminded me that the reason why I'm called Blood Moon in the server is because that was my original character's name was Baldwin Blood Moon, who, if I pull this up right here, mind the crappy camera, I have a custom Funko Pop of one of my favorite characters.
Oh, that's so cool.
And she was a Ruin Knight. Now she was a fairy. Definitely something I just kind of made up on the spot. A fighter fairy Rune Knight. Obviously,
that's so cool though.
Being a Rune Knight, you're connected with giants, so I just chose that for irony because she's 3 feet tall.
That's so cool though. Like,
the best part is because I got it off the side. I'm trying to find a way to put it on the sculpture here. Is because she had the sword, a flying great sword. So she would cast her word, and she would have this little sword here that would fly with her as she flies into the sky. So not only is she flying,
that's so cool.
but this flying sword is, and because you can make things super giant, she becomes this giant with this giant great sword in the sky.
That is cool. Yeah,
rain
that is
hell
cool.
upon them.
That's cool as shit.
And she was OP because I played her as range, so she wouldn't get hit as much while keeping that sword because that sword can go I think 60 feet. So I can fight them with that sword at range and still shoot a bow. She was
fair
OP.
enough. Cool.
But definitely a great subclass.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was great talking to you and bringing you on.
Yeah,
the podcast.
it's been enjoyable. Yeah,
yeah, thank
great.
you. Not to a fanboy a little bit, but I absolutely love the podcast, boys. I do listen to it every day as much as I can, giving you guys as much support. I am on YouTube, Spotify. I'm on everything for you guys except TikTok.
Yeah, we're on everywhere.
Yeah. So
nice.
I'll get you those views by myself if I have to.
Thank you. If there's anyone else you want to shout out, like a small creator that you might know, Derek, go ahead. You can shout them out.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see. First of all, Tommy, where are you? Come on.
It's I wanted him on today as well. It's a shame. Yeah.
He's he's new to DMing, but he's very good. And hell, even Zarthax, Derek, he's my other DM. Yeah, two Dereks. But shout out to him as well. He should be more active. Come on, watch the podcast.
Cool. Obviously, we're on most platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon, Apple Music, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcasts. Yeah, most
whatever
platforms.
it is.
Yeah. Check us out. This episode will be out in about a week or so you guys will see it then. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think next week it's just going to be us two.
Yep. Next episode after this one will be just me and Yuan doing some recaps. That'll be fun.
We'll just do a nice chat. We'll find some things to talk about. Maybe we'll find some homebrew rules or something and chat about some homebrew rules.
Definitely. But thanks for coming on. We'll see everyone.
Yeah, it's been great having you.
We'll see everyone
being here,
later.
guys.
Yeah. See you next week.
Cool. Bye.